Hello? Hello, good afternoon. This is lesson number 25. This is lesson number 25. It's a revision. We are going to cover these lessons that we have seen before. First, we have got the first conditional and comparatives and superlatives. And for the third objective, we've got the present perfect progressive versus present perfect simple. Present perfect simple. We're going to start with the first conditional. The first conditional. And what we mean by the first conditional, as we have seen, is that you are, I'm going to type something for you. Yes. That means if the result is possible, that means the result is real. Is real. Alright? So, here in this picture, if I study conditional. Can you complete it? Miss Rania, Mr. Abdul Malik, or Miss Yasmin? I will pass the test. Perfect. I will pass the test. Mr. Abdul Malik, do you mean wait? You want me to wait for you? Yes, I'm waiting. It's okay. So, if I study, I will pass. If I study, I will pass. Study. Yes, in which position is the verb study? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Just to make it simple. Is it verb 1, 2, or 3? Yes, Miss Yasmin? Yes, you are right. You are correct. It's verb number 1. And then I will pass. You have the future clause. I will, the future clause. Pass, the verb pass. Check the word pass. Is it verb 1, 2, or 3? What do you think? Are you sure? Are you sure, Miss Yasmin? Is it verb 2? I will pass. I will go. I will sleep. So, don't you think it's number 1? Yes. It is verb number 1, Miss Yasmin. So, if I study, what do you mean by numbers? Alright, we mean by number, just to make it simple for you, Miss Yasmin. Number 1, that means verb number 1, which is the, also we've got verb number 2, that means in the past. Verb number 1, that means the present. Verb number 2, that means the past, verb in the past. And verb number 3, that means the past participle. And just to make it easy for you, I will, no voice. No voice. What about now? Is it okay now? Can you hear me, please? Yes, I can hear you. That's perfect. So, the first conditional, we use the first conditional to talk about future events that are likely to happen. That are likely to happen. Now, as I have mentioned here, the if clause and clause mean always sentence. The if clause, and we mean by clause is the sentence. The if sentence can be used with different present forms. Yes, that's perfect. Now, the future clause, the future sentence, can contain going to or the future perfect as well. So, we have got well. That's wonderful, Miss Yasmin. You are right. If it's planned, that means going to. And if it's not planned, then you may use well. Yes, this is really perfect. Thanks a lot for your nice, wonderful response, Miss Yasmin. You are absolutely right. So the future clause can contain going to if it's planned, as Miss Yasmin has just said, or the future perfect as well as well. So now can you make a sentence here using this conditional clause starting with F, please? Yes, all of you, Miss Rania, Mr. Abdul Malik, Miss Yasmin, and Miss Fatma, please. Miss Yasmin says, if it rains, I will go out to play. I will go out to play, alright? Will not. You will go out to play, or you will not go out to play. Alright? That's a wonderful sentence, Miss Yasmin. Thanks a lot for this. Alright, we need also others to give us sentences of their own. Yes, Miss Rania, Miss Abdul Malik, Miss Fatma Khalid, please give us your sentences, please. Let us see how can you make a sentence with this conditional clause. Yes, we're just waiting for your sentences, Miss Rania, Mr. Abdul Malik, and Miss Fatma Khalid. Try, it's okay. Just give it a try to use the conditional clause or the conditional sentence. Yes? Alright. Let's ask Mr. Computer to give us the sentence here. If it rains, I will stay at home. F, alright, and then the condition, present simple, verb number 1, if it rains, what's the result? I will stay at home. If it rains, I will stay at home. This is how we form it, and this is how we can understand about the condition and the result. And also make sure that the present simple is verb number 1, and then you have well plus base verb, that means the verb also in the first condition, which is verb number 1. Alright? So far so good. Alright, now let's move. By the way, if you have got any comment or question, topic by topic, you can stop me and ask please if you have any questions. Now, the comparatives and superlatives, where we can compare between two things and the superlatives among different things. That means more than two things. So, we've got compare. You've got compare. That means you are comparing between two things, all right? Between two things. Whereas the superlatives dealing with, yes, you are absolutely right, Miss Yasmin. Perfect. So among different things, that means more than two things. All right. This goes for the superlatives. Thank you so much, Miss Yasmin. It's been really great. So we use the comparative and the superlative to describe. All right. The adjective form, if you have only one syllable ending in E, for example, wide, fine, cute, all right? One syllable means one vowel sound, all right? Such as wide, fine, cute. I, and then you and cute. So, when you are dealing with the comparative, you have to add R to the adjective. Wider than, finer than, cuter than. Alright? This is in the case of comparative. Whereas in the case of superlative, you are adding ST to the adjective. Wide, widest. Fine, finest. Cute, cutest. Alright? So, the comparative between two things, whereas the superlative, look at this form, this hot, hottest. Double T, E-S-T. Biggest, that means big, biggest, and we've got also double G-E-S-T that you add for the superlative. Whereas in the final example, we've got fat, fattest, also double T-E-S-T. This is for the superlative adjective form. Alright, for the adjective form of only one syllable with more than one vowel or more than one consonant at the end. For example, you've got light, neat, and fast. In the comparative adjective form, when comparing between two things, you've got to add ER to the adjective. Light, lighter. Neat, neater. Fast, and faster. Whereas in the superlative form, you've got to add EST to the adjective. Light, lightest. Neat, neatest. Fat, fattest. Facets, alright? So, okay. Do you have any problem with the vowels and the consonant? The vowels and the consonant? Is it clear to you, the vowel and the consonant? What are the vowels? Do you know the vowels in English? Excellent. We've got A-E-I-O-U. That's perfect, Miss Yasmin. You are absolutely correct. These are the vowels. And what about the consonant? What about the consonant? What about the consonant? Yes, the consonant would be the other letters, the other or the rest of the letters other than A, E, I, O, and U. All right? So, that's perfect. Let's move on. Let's take a look now at this adjective form. We've got 2 syllables ending in Y. Examples: happy, silly, lonely. All right? Competitive form would take to change the Y into I, then add ER. For example, happy, happier. Changing the Y into I and then adding ER to the adjective. Whereas silly, the adjective silly as well, changing the Y into I and then adding ER to the adjective. Lonely, lonelier. Changing the Y into I, adding ER to the adjective. For the superlative, you've got to change the Y into I, then add EST. For example, happy, happiest. Changing the Y into I and then add EST to the adjective. Silly, silliest. Lonely, loneliest. All right? So far, so good? I hope so. Yes, that's great. What about this adjective form here? We've got 2 syllables or more. 2 syllables or more, not ending in Y. For example, modern. Modern. This is a 2-syllable word. This is a 2-syllable word, all right, not ending in Y. And also you've got interesting. Interesting as well. And beautiful. These are words or adjectives of 2 syllables or more, not ending in Y. Where if you take the competitive form, you've got to use more. You have to use more when comparing between 2 things. So, use more before the adjective, then you would have modern, more modern. Interesting, more interesting. Beautiful, more beautiful. All right? Whereas in the superlative form, you've got to use most. You've got to use most. So, use most before the adjective, then you would have modern, most modern. Interesting, most interesting. Beautiful, most beautiful. Okay? Let's move. Now, perfect. So, now, take this activity. You have to complete the conversation with the correct forms of adjectives in brackets. And please make sure that you pay a lot of attention to forms of the adjectives, all right? Forms of the adjectives in brackets. That means we have different kinds of forms regarding the adjectives. So could be competitive, could be superlative, and could be something else. So make sure to use the forms or the correct forms of the adjective. All right. So let's take the first blank here. We've got Carl and Dennis. I need a break. I want to do something fun. Dennis, okay. And you've got the adjective exciting. What's exciting thing to do in the world? Skydiving, of course. Yes. Exciting. Yes, Miss Fatma, it's okay, but you have to use the correct form. So we have got here, Miss Yasmin is saying the most exciting. The most exciting. And this is absolutely right. Thank you so much, Miss Yasmin, absolutely correct. The most exciting, this is the superlative. How did you know, Miss Yasmin, that it was the most exciting? What told you from the sentence that you had to use it? Because it is in the world. Yes, you are right. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So, more than two, yes, of course. So the world here, to do in the world, this is the word or the indication that tells us that we have to use the superlative. All right? Perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Yasmin, for your wonderful response. Now, let's take the second blank. Are you serious? Are you serious? That's dangerous. It's even, and you've got the adjective dangerous than hang gliding. More dangerous, Yasmin is saying. What about the rest of the students here? What about you, Miss Rania and Miss Fatma Khalid? Don't you have any answers for the second blank? If you have any answers for the second blank, you can share this with us. All right. So more dangerous actually is the correct answer for the second blank, and let's thank Ms. Yasmin for her wonderful answer. It's been great. Thank you. Yes. And then again, the same question, Ms. Yasmin, and also to Ms. Vanya. What are the word that tells you you have to use more dangerous and not to use other forms of the adjective? And the second blank, they are comparing between skydiving and hang gliding. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely correct. Thanks a lot, Miss Yasmin. Perfect. Perfect. Really wonderful. All right, now let's move to the third blank. No, Dan is saying it's, and you've got the adjective safe than hang gliding, but neither is really dangerous. Safer. Safer. That's perfect. Safer is the correct answer, and if you have also than in the sentence, if you have than, then this word tells you that you have to use the competitive adjective form. Okay? If you have than in the sentence. This also would make it easier for you to understand when to use the correct form of the adjective, which is more than. Now, Carl here in the fourth blank, well, it's not exactly, and you have the adjective cheap for it. In the world, Dennis, cheapest. Absolutely right. So, cheapest here, it's not exactly the cheapest, all right? The cheapest, right? Perfect. That's great, Miss Yasmin. Very good answer. The cheapest sport in the world, Dennis. Perfect. So, the cheapest here, and yeah, because it is superlative. Yes, you are absolutely right. And then the word the world here is the key. Yes? Sorry for that. I think I lost service. Yes, that's perfect. So, how can you do the fifth blank and the sixth blank? Oh, come on. A whole afternoon skydiving is cheap as going away for the weekend. As cheap as. As cheap as. Yes, this is the correct form of this adjective, Miss Yasmin and Miss Rania. Absolutely right. Absolutely correct. Thank you so much. So, as cheap as means the same, right? No competitive, no superlative. And if you have in the sentence as, this would tells you that you have to add also as here in the blank. So, as cheap as, alright? What about the sixth blank? Well, there's difference between you, yes, well, there's the difference between you and me, Dennis. I'm not crazy as you. I'd rather go away for a weekend than jump out of the plane. Now, yes, you are absolutely right, Miss Yasmin, as crazy as, and this is also as this, the fifth blank here, as. And if you have, again, Miss Rania, Miss Yasmin, again, you have as, and then this would tells you that you have to add as also in the blank to have the correct form of the adjective. Alright? Is it easy or difficult? Was the activity easy or difficult, Miss Yasmin and Miss Rania? What about you, Miss Rania? Is it easy? I hope so. Yes. Thank you. And let's move now to the last part of our lesson here. We've got the present perfect progressive and versus present perfect simple. What is the difference? Alright, look and tell the difference here. Have written 5 letters. I have written 5 letters. You have written 5 letters. I have been to London twice. You have been to London twice. What do you think? Is this the present simple, or is it the present perfect progressive or the present perfect simple? The first box here. The present perfect for no of forms the verb has done. Present perfect. Alright, you were saying that, Miss Yasmin, this is the present perfect, right? The present perfect. Number of times. Alright, what about this box here, the second box? I have been writing for an hour. I have been writing for an hour. What's that? Is it the present perfect? How long the verb has take to complete? That means you are concentrating on time, on the length. Present perfect progressive. Excellent. Perfect. Absolutely correct, Miss Yasmin. Thank you. So, the present perfect simple, I have written 5 letters. I have been to London twice. Whereas the present perfect progressive or continuous, I have been writing for an hour. What's the difference between these two tenses here? Before getting into the differences here, let's have the form of these two tenses. The present perfect simple, irregular verbs, form of have, verb have, third plus the third column of the irregular verbs, which is verb 3. For example, I have spoken. You have spoken. We have spoken. He has spoken. She has spoken. And it has spoken. The regular verbs form of have plus infinitive plus ed. For example, I have worked. You have worked. We have worked. He has worked. She has worked. And it has worked. Present perfect simple. Whereas the present perfect progressive or continuous, you've got the form of have plus been plus verb plus ing. For example, I have been speaking. You're talking here. You're concentrating on time. You have been speaking. We have been speaking and they have been speaking. He has been speaking, she has been speaking, and it has been speaking. Yes, very good, Miss Yasmin. Perfect. Here, you've got the present perfect simple. You are concentrating completely on the results. All right? You've got what, how much, how often. This is the result. This is the result, all right? For example, I have written 5 letters, results. All right? I have been to London, also result. Whereas the present perfect progressive here, you are concentrating on time, duration, time, how long. I have been writing for an hour. And this is actually the difference between the present perfect simple and the present perfect progressive or continuous. For the present perfect simple, the emphasis here, the focus here on completion. I have done my homework. That means you have completed your homework. Whereas the present perfect progressive here, the emphasis or the focus is on duration, time. I have been doing my homework. You are concentrating on time, duration. And this is exactly the difference between these two tenses. Okay. This is our end. Thank you very much, all of you, and good night.